Hi there. This is Kate Stahl, Technology Chair for Kappa for the 2025-2027 term. And I just want to show you a little bit about where to find things on the website and how to log in. So what we're dealing with today, you're going to see all this stuff down here, home, about us, et cetera, et cetera. That's really the public area of the website. When we're getting into the information that is available to members only, the things that officers need to access, especially, we're looking at the membership area up here at the top. And the first thing we need to do is go to the top right to log in. And like everyone else, this computer, mine takes a while to load. But anyway, for the login, you're going to need your member number and password. And there's some information here about where to find your member number on the back of your cross keys label. And your password is your first and last name, all lowercase with no spaces, as it is spelled on your cross keys label or chapter printout. So I'm going to go ahead and put my login info in here and get logged in. Hopefully, there we go. All right, now this took me straight to the membership area, but if it didn't, I would just click at the membership area here on the top. But in order to actually enter that area, you do have to be logged in. So in this just for members area, one of the things you'll see near the top, typically if we're doing registration for RTCs or regional training conferences or state convention or something like that, you're going to see that near the top. We also have a couple of other things at the top. The central office is doing pre-orders to be picked up at RTCs, so there's a place to click on there. And then there's also a special order for the 125-year anniversary pin. So that's a little promo for that. And also, anytime you're going to central office, you could click up here, of course, but typically to go to central office, you're going to go down here at the bottom to the central office icon and click on that, or click on central office online shop. Let's see here. And what you will see in the central office online shop, of course, the jewelry, other supplies, our TK gear, and so on. And finally, if you prefer not to order online and you just like to get the order form printed off and send in a check, you do have that option to download that jewelry and supply order form and do it that way. So definitely something to keep in mind there. All right, a couple other things at the bottom. We have these other two areas, information about White Carnation shops. So what other chapters are offering for sale. There's information about state convention, which will of course be updated for 2027. But most of the stuff you're actually going to be working with in this area is going to be in this sort of top row, if you will. Um, there are links to businesses and resources that may be useful to you. In the state section, certainly there are a few things that you might want to use, like maybe contacting committee folks for the state. There's the ritual and pledge manual, some other forms and things, including the chapter review forms, as well as your monthly e-newsletter and state cross keys magazine archives. Those are cool. But the most important section over here is the chapter section. And I'm going to point you to the most important stuff here. Now, we've got lots of different things within this section. We've got officers' forms and materials. That's going to be the big thing. We've got your state bylaws, your officer guides and directories, information about your chapter email addresses, the keys to a successful chapter series, as well as some other information down here that you can all just access in this area. So if we click on chapter and we allow my internet to work here, then we are going to get to this area. Under officer guides and directories, one thing here that I'll point out to you is the active and associate officer directory. So if you're trying to get in touch with chapter officers from other chapters, that's where you can find that information. The place, though, that has like kind of your one-stop shop for the stuff that you have to have, that you really need, the most important and most essential items is right here under officers' forms. So you're going to see all the different offices listed here, from president to vice president, your recording secretary, treasurer, corresponding secretary, and also your scholarship chair. So there are materials for all of those people. And I'll just show you a couple of these. So you're going to notice that if you go into the president or the vice president file, that you're going to see a separate guide for active chapter presidents and associate chapter presidents. So make sure you're looking at the correct guide for that one. And along with those guides, which are, your officer manual, your handbook of sorts, you're also going to have access to several other items. Another one that I will point out here that is pretty important, pretty essential for a president is this P10 annual report of chapter officers that is due each June. And that's where you update your officers, even if they're the same. We want to make sure we have the most up-to-date listing of your officers and their contact information. So that P10 right there is really important. And we have other forms here that you may use as well. And actually in the president section, there are also some key forms for some of the other officers too, including that annual financial report that your treasurer should be doing each July. VP forms for nominating folks and VP ballot. Also that application for state appointment. You want to try to get somebody in your chapter to volunteer to potentially serve on the state level. That doesn't mean they're going to have a big job. They could just be a committee member or do something small as well. So that's kind of highlights there. Then you've got your recording secretary and corresponding secretary materials. Keep in mind, I know some of you associates just have a secretary who does both jobs. In that case, that secretary will need to look at the recording secretary materials and the core sec materials. Keep in mind that the guides for the recording secretary, the treasurer, and the corresponding secretary are the same for the associate and active groups. And you want to make sure when you're looking at your guides and your forms that you have the most recent one. We update these every 2 years. So make sure when you're looking at your guide, you've got the most current form of that guide. So this one says 2025 to 2027. So we know we're good. One thing I will say, anytime you're getting into one of these, you click on it, you open it. It's going to go into a PDF here. It's going to open it up for you. You could do a couple of things with this. You could print it if you would like, if you prefer to have a hard copy, or you can also download the file. And maybe, if you're the recording secretary, maybe you're going to download that recording secretary guide, and maybe you're going to save it to your desktop because you're going to be looking at that a whole lot. Okay, so that is just a suggestion if you're someone who's just wanting to look at it online and not necessarily print out a copy, though you can print out a copy. I'm not going to go through the treasurer or core sec materials just for the sake of keeping this from being too long. But again, all of these have the guides, your required forms, and other supplemental materials any office would need. I do want to look at the scholarship chair materials and show that to you. That is pretty important. And you're going to find the scholarship guide here. And that is really, again, kind of your key point here. There are lots of materials here and all helpful, of course, but that scholarship guide is where you're going to find information about scholarships we offer at the state level, other guidance for local scholarships and things like that, as well as the forms for the various state scholarships. So if you scroll through this, you're going to find the application for academic scholarships and for fine arts scholarships and the other scholarships we offer at the state level. So you're going to see all that information right there. So if you are having someone submitting a state scholarship application to your chapter, and then your chapter is sending it on to us, those are the forms that you will need to use. Also, here where it says for scholarship applications, click here. This is some additional information about scholarships. So there is an important note here. And this is just to kind of prevent any confusion. January 31st is the deadline for students who are applying online and directly submitting their scholarships to either the scholarship chair or the fine arts chair. So some students will actually apply without going through a chapter. But if a student is going through your chapter, you get until February 28th to turn it in. So it is a different deadline. So just keep that in mind. State scholarship stuff is coming soon here. They also have some other forms and things here that can be helpful. And you'll also find the Province 1 and Province 7 scholarship information here. So if you're in Province 1 or Province 7, that information may also be helpful to you. Okay, so that is the website membership area in a nutshell. So again, you're going to the login, log out, you'll go into that membership area. And again, the most important area in there that's going to be where you're going to find most of your stuff is in this chapter section. And when you get into the chapter section, one more time, I will show you exactly where you're going to go. That area where it says officers forms. You can go up here and just get the officers guides, but I actually like this officers form section better because it includes not only the guides, but all those other materials. So that's where to go there. Before I end this video, I am going to share a little bit more about social media. So you're going to find links on our website to our various social media, and I want to talk with you about our Facebook and Instagram accounts, which you may follow if you use those. So I'm on my Facebook here, and I would just go and put in the search Tri Kappa State Official. That's the one we would follow. And I'm already following it, of course. But if I weren't following it, instead of the following icon here, I would have the option to start following. Keep in mind that we usually post a few times a week, and we've got all kinds of stuff here. This past week, I'm making this video on August 1st. We were advertising the Miracle Treat Day for Riley. We were also advertising some stuff about the coloring book contest and some other things too. Another thing on our Facebook account would be the actual videos that are coming out every Monday. That's something that our council president, Stephanie Euler, is heading up, but she's having other state folks give their own information as well for their various committees and things. So those are pretty cool. If you're on Instagram, you would do something similar here. You would just search, and you're going to put in Tri Kappa, and here you want Tri Kappa, Indiana. You'll also have other, of course, local chapters who have information posted on their Instagrams, but you can check those out too. But Tri Kappa, Indiana is the state one. And for this one, you would just click on any of these images to see the full post. And here on Instagram and on Facebook, you can add a comment, or you can love or like something. So I'll show you what that looks like on Facebook as well. Here I'm commenting, or here I can like it, or heart it, or laugh at it. Of course, we want to choose the appropriate response. And some things are funny, so that's fine too. We enjoy a little laughter when it's appropriate. But anyway, what you always want to keep in mind anytime you like something, react to something, comment to something on our Facebook or our Instagram is that those essentially become comments essentially become public. So do be aware it's not just a private exchange or conversation. It is something that anyone on these public pages, that anyone following them could see. So just be aware of that and keep that in mind. If you have any questions about technology in general, technology committee at trikappa.org, or I'm sorry, excuse me, technology chair at trikappa.org, technology chair at trikappa.org is where those general questions can go. And also, if you are wanting to maybe share something on social media or have us share something on our social media pages, you can email our social media gal, Amber Wishmeyer, and hers is social media at trikappa.org. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was helpful to you today.